talked a lot about your career pathway, right? Your progress, but it isn't seamless in this business, and I want to just explore that transition from camera operating into Steadicam. Talk a little bit more about that because I think that would help our audience here who are trying to get into the business.
Yeah, I think everyone has a bit of a hiccup when they're finally feeling established in some aspect, some corner of the industry. And I feel most of us always want to go, okay, I'm here and now I want to get
Mm,
here and now I want to get here. And
right.
that those jumps can be very difficult. And I'm currently in the jump of going from pulling focus, being a first AC, and going into Steadicam. And it's kind of the difficulty is making the having the like cinematographers you worked with in
Hmm.
those bigger regards look at you as a Steadicam operator versus as an assistant. And that was something that I was struggling with in the beginning of how do I break out into showing people that I am a capable Steadicam operator and no longer just an assistant. And one of the biggest things that helped me was finding cinematographers that are basically doing what I'm doing, but for a cinematographer. So they're trying to become a cinematographer. Well, I'm trying to become a Steadicam operator and really um, like linking arms and trying
Yeah.
to get on all those jobs that might be low budget, but they're so capable at being a cinematographer, they just haven't been given all those opportunities. And just as well as I'm very capable at being the camera operator, but just haven't been given those opportunities. So getting those projects off the ground that look wonderful, even though they were smaller budget, was kind of one of the biggest stepping stones that I had because I was able to get footage from those jobs
Mhm.
and put them on a reel. And
Right.
that was what really helped me like maneuver those waters until I could find some DPs that were like, "Oh, that looks very professional. So she's been on something professional." Yes, but no, because we're all kind of in
Yeah.
this come up. So those were the jobs that like I latched onto.
Yeah. And it's getting those jobs, getting the exposure, building your network too of people that know you're capable of that work. And was there anybody that gave you a leg up or is still giving you a leg up to help you transition?
There's actually a couple. I'm gonna the first one being Reed Dervay. She's someone I believe I sent you as well. She's an up and coming cinematographer who's now starting to get on some bigger jobs, and she was someone that pulled me on to the some of her big like starting DP jobs.
Hmm.
And she's extremely talented. She comes from the G&E world as a gaffer, so she knows how to light. She knows what she's doing. And I knew that from when she reached out to me, and that was one of the biggest stepping stones for me. So shout out
Hmm.
to Reed. She's one of my first and biggest supporters that I've always enjoyed working with. And she's a female cinematographer. She's wonderful. A huge shout out to her. And um, and then from there, I had some other more established cinematographers that saw that and were,
Hmm.
I'll take a chance. And those were the other people that really helped me after the fact. But that first step is the hardest, 100, like
Yeah.
tenfold. And that was all thanks to Reed for me.
Yeah. And in terms of, we always talk about what a male dominated world it is. Have you been restricted by the sexism in any way?
I would like to say that there are maybe it's not blatant in terms of this Steadicam
Hmm.
selection currently, but there are very few female Steadicam operators, especially I live in the New York area. So
Hmm.
the New York metropolitan area, I was talking with someone that kind of leads the female Steadicam ops little organization,
Hmm.
and we were kind of talking about how many like female ops are there,
Yeah.
and we kind of counted out roughly like 20 versus I want to say well over 100 male operators. So the it's hard to say they are getting picked over a lot of us, but there are a
Yeah.
lot less of us. And I think that the barrier to entry is rough for Steadicam, but at the same time, they're more than capable women to do this. I just think more need to be shown that path. And I think that's where a lot of this needs to start is that you can do it base level, let's get them involved from the jump instead of now that we're all in like an established space, oh, we're not picking a woman. It's like, well, because you haven't cultivated that experience for them from
Yeah.
the beginning. So it's
Right.
that's where the roots need to be watered first.
And you don't have to be a competitive weightlifter to be a Steadicam operator.
Right.
For those who haven't listened to the podcast yet, go over to the podcast because we hear about Ghitta's professional or semi-professional competitive sports career, being a weightlifter, being a water polo player, and of course now the CrossFit. But I do want to talk about that because although I mean, obviously you took it very seriously, you know semi-pro in all of those. I'm wondering if women that are coming into the industry, if they understand the physicality of this job, do you think they come prepared?
That is actually something that I witnessed with some disheartening eyes over the years that I wish I have these conversations with a lot of women on set that they all wish they could get in the gym more or do something to be stronger. And we're talking about literally two dominated male dominated fields. We've got
Mhm.
athletics and in the gym and the film industry, two
Right,
very intimidating career paths for women in general.
right.
And there's a part of me that I always tell them, like, if you have any questions about strength, like, feel free to text me because I will answer to the fullest regards of what you're
Yeah,
asking me
yeah,
about. And I think not just women, but everyone on set really should get in the gym for the most part that I've noticed. But I will say it seems to be harder for women, and I wish there was an easier outlet to show. I mean, I've thought this my whole life to show that strength training isn't any bad. Like, there's no, you're not going to look like a man. You're not gonna, like all those falsities
hmm
that it will literally just benefit you positively. It'll
yes,
take away pain for the most part. Everyone gets
right.
afraid of weightlifting because they're going to get hurt. It's if you can, someone can show you correctly, you will uh like fix a lot of like back issues or knee like most of those things will go away due to that. Like what is physical therapy other than smaller strength training? Like it's all about
Yeah,
getting to that level where hopefully you aren't in pain on set and like that kind of
yeah.
and that strength is no longer looked at as something bad but like something that you can utilize.
What would you advise young women then to do to coming into this industry to prepare themselves and maybe avoid some of the hurdles that you had to face? I mean, it's not going to be easy, and there isn't a straight line, right? That life is unscripted. But I'm wondering if what advice you would give to them to be better prepared.
I would say don't be afraid of entering the gym and looking dumb. It everyone looks dumb, especially in the beginning. That's just how that's part of it. And just like on set, if you step on set brand new and you don't know anything, it's the same as stepping into a gym and you not knowing anything. So if you can overcome getting onto a set, I fully believe you can overcome getting into a gym and asking a few questions to make sure that you're fit and healthy to be on set.
In terms of the buddy system, though, is that of course can be helpful if you know people already on set. Any advice there?
In terms of set or the gym?
But word set now.
Well, I would say most of the time you end up getting hired because you know somebody on
Yeah,
set.
right.
So I think that if you can get to set with the person that hired you as an acquaintance
hmm
and be open to having like nice dialogue with other people on set, that's the best way to just uh create a better, bigger and more supportive network is finding people on set along because you're there with them. You're both there on the same job. So there's no yes, there's a bit of a hierarchy, but at the same time, you're both there. You're both working that day. And if you can look at it that way and just introduce yourself and hopefully find more women on set so you can introduce yourself and say, and say, hey, I'm brand new or if you're experienced, but if you're brand new, like, can you help me if with this? And it shouldn't be looked as a weakness. I prefer people to say, "Hey, can you help me with this? I've never done this before," versus just barging through and trying because that can lead to more problems. But that is usually my biggest advice when you come onto set is just say hi and introduce yourself and ask questions if you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience here while you can, Geeta? Because I think you know you're at an interesting point in your career, still knocking a few doors down, hopefully.
Yeah, I do feel like I have a lot of room for growth, and in a way that I'm because I of just starting in a lot of senses, even though I feel like I've been doing this for a while, which I also feel like most people have that same
Hmm.
feeling. They're always searching to better themselves, but um, I would just say that if you're a woman trying to get into this industry, that it is not impossible and you can do it if you want to. And I think that just needs to be said to more people, more women particularly, to be
Hmm.
if you want to do this, there's no reason you can't do this.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I think women are proving all the time, how very capable they are in all departments.
100%. Yeah.
And winning awards left and right. I mean, we've had so many wonderful women on the show, and award winning, and really, you know, creating a pathway there for younger women for sure. I'm wondering though if it's too early to ask you your bucket list.
Like in terms of what I want to accomplish.
Yeah, well, everything.
Um,
Because don't you start your bucket list younger these days now, I think.
I think one of my major career goals is I want to work on a major as a Steadicam operator and as a cinematographer. Not at the same time, but at one point would love to work on a major film as a Steadicam operator, as an A-cam operator, and then progress into being a cinematographer for a major motion film. And then I would also like to compete more in weightlifting again.
Oh, really? That's still unfinished business there, is it?
There's something
Yeah.
about competing. I don't want to give it up. I haven't competed in years, and every so often that thought of just do a local competition again. I want to be able to baseline, be able to feel okay to do a few competitions a year and that have that level of my life fulfilled again.
What is the most you've lifted?
Um, okay, so do you know the sport of strongman at all?
Yes, a little
Okay,
bit.
so do you know the yokes that you put across your back
Yes.
and you okay,
Yes.
I have ran with 600 pounds on my back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
At deadlift?
Deadlifting is actually one of my worst because I'm very tall. So
Oh, okay.
deadlifting is
Yeah.
actually one of my least favorite lifts. I've only ever deadlifted, conventional deadlifted at 315.
Okay. I'm still impressed. It's still got more noughts on it than I can lift, so but yeah, I can see why you're still ambitious. You're very driven.
It's
Things
fun.
yeah.
I can't let the go. It's fun to compete and be
Yeah.
on set and be doing a skill that's so incredibly difficult in front of people. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, and I can see why being as prepared as you are physically makes you as competitive in terms of getting the jobs against any man.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that too. I just
Yeah.
the drive of I can do this, I promise you, is
Yes.
there all the time.
Yes. Yes. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Gita, this has been fun to get to know you and exciting to see, what you're offering the industry and the pathway ahead for you. So I wish you the very, very best of luck and thanks for taking time to do this. You're a great inspiration.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, this has been so much fun.
Excellent. All right. Well, take care and thanks again for being on the show and being on the podcast. And don't forget to pop over to your podcast app and listen to the podcast and the hear gives us entire story. She tells us everything. Full exposure on the podcast. All right, Geeta, thank you so much. Take care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.